Slayers. Happy Friday, y'all. It is December 29th, 2023. Just a few days away from a brand new slate, 2024. And welcome to Slay Station. That's right. This is just our live podcast update, whatever the hell you want to call it, platform where we're going to talk about things, Slay Nation, things in the industry, what's going on with our tournament scene, and we'll just go from there. We'll have some great conversations. So without further ado, today's podcast, right, we just want to thank all of our title sponsors and presenting sponsors, which you could see them across the screen here. And if you look up top, we got SFO Tackle in the house, Z-Pro Lithium, Dark Horse Tackle, Martin's Custom Baits. Those are our 4 title sponsors heading into 2024. Down below, our presenting sponsors, X-Zone Lures, Heat Your Meat, which I got some right here. That's it. And he's custom famous. Go get some. This is mild. I use this daily, right? If you see the post, okay, go check some out. This one is not too hot. Great seasoning. I put it on everything. And then this is another one of my favorites, the SPG, salt, pepper, garlic. Put this on a steak next time you have one. It's heavy with garlic and pepper, so keep those nostrils wide open. But go check out heatyourmeat.net and use our code SLAYIN10. All right, it'll save you some money, right? We got Stoneman and Sons Lure Company, The Rod Glove, Hook Set Hoodlums, Harmony Fishing, and Omnia Fishing. So let's, hey, today, here's what we're going to do, y'all. I got one of our directors popping on, right, who we're going to introduce in just a minute. You've seen them if you've watched us before in the past. But again, do us a favor, like, share, comment. If you're a Facebook user, make sure you grant StreamYard permission to use your name. Otherwise, we're just going to see Facebook user up here, and we won't know who's chatting with us. For example, there it is. What's up, Frank? What's going on? And then if you're on YouTube, just subscribe, share, whatever you got to do. Give us a thumbs up, all that baloney. But hey, let's get on Upstate New York Kayak Director Justin Query. What's up, Just?
What's up, man? How you doing?
We're doing good, dude. The holidays are almost over. Yep. And you know what that means? It's getting closer to spring, baby.
It looks like spring still.
Right? I mean, so upstate New York, what's the temp right now for you?
Oh, shoot, man. Probably
like in a 40s?
40? Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Usually, like right now, last year, I think we had, I don't know, a couple feet of snow on the ground at least by now. But it's just crazy. Not normal this year.
No, it's almost January.
And there's guys that are kayak fishing, man. Like, I saw a post the other day, I think it was on NYKBF page. One of the guys was out in the Finger Lakes in his kayak, and he caught like his PB smallmouth. And I'm like, it's December 28th that day. It was like, holy shit.
It's crazy.
But I don't know if it could. I don't know what that'll do to the fish, because it's going to be weird if we don't get much ice this year. It's going to be like a 4-week ice season, and then none of the fish going to get really messed with this year. A lot of the bait fish and all the perch not getting touched. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. Just never seen this too much.
I know. I guess we'll find out. I mean, same thing in Connecticut. It's been in the 50s.
Yeah.
You know, I know people are still getting out there, and people are catching. You know, they're like, oh, they're still chewing. Of course, they're always going to chew. They got to eat, but still, they're catching some big uns.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, whatever. I guess time will tell when spring rolls around or when fishing seasons start, if there's a factor or not. Who knows? So here's what we're going to do real quick. So we're going to go through our topics of discussion today, y'all, we're going to dive into our early bird registration update. All right, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about our 2024 jersey drop. So for anybody that watches, they know that every year we like to come out with a different kind of scheme for our jerseys so that you can collect different ones throughout the seasons. We actually have one, it might be one. I know for a fact we have one angler that has been with us. He has every single jersey from year one. Stanley Baxter, who is New Jersey native, and Stanley will be fishing both the small vessel series and the PA kayak series. So that's really cool. I should get him on. We're going to talk New York kayak series, and we're going to go over Justin's schedule and talk a little bit about that, what they have going on up there for next year. They're doing some really great things, him and Josh Fusen. And we're also going to get into our 2024 fishing predictions. And really what that is, we're going to dive into all different types parts of the industry, whether it's big boat tournaments, kayak tournaments, opens, kayak anglers making a transition to some boat stuff, and also bait predictions. What do you think is going to be the hot technique? Who knows? But forward-facing sonar. So those are the topics we're going to dive into. But first, we're going to start with the early bird registration, which I'm going to pull that up. And for anybody that watches what we got going on, Slay Nation, you see all these sponsors on our, sponsors and partners on our jerseys or on the website. Like we don't get big thousands of dollars sponsorship deals. Okay, so our lifeblood is our memberships, right? So the earlier we get memberships in, the earlier we can purchase insurance, get jerseys made, banners, etc., all that good stuff. So right now, this is our current early bird registration raffle prize. What that means is if you sign up now, it says here January 1st, which we're going to extend that. We know the holidays just dropped. People spent a lot of money traveling, toys, presents, whatever it is. Budget is tight right now. So we're going to extend this to the end of January. I'll put out a specific date. It'll probably be like January 25th. And if you sign up by then, you get entered to win all these goodies on the screen. You're going to win 20 packs of X-Zones, which I showed what I had station last week. 20 rod sleeves from the Rod Glove. Martin's Custom Baits, you're going to get 15 products, right? There's a combination of these knee knockers, which are like they're brand new and killer spinnerbait designed by just Jonathan Kelly, Bassmaster Elite Pro. There's jigs in there. There's buzz baits in there. All different types of jigs, football, swim jigs, etc. You'll get that. You're going to win a 10 amp, 12 volt battery, courtesy of Z Pro Lithium. You're going to get a $50 gift card from SFL Tackle, online tackle shop. Whether you like fresh or salt water, they have everything. You're going to win the ultimate combo pack from Heat Your Meat. All those great seasonings come in that pouch, and that's valued at I don't even know, it's close to $100 or more dollars. But you'll have everything to cover all your needs, and it'll make you the king at your next barbecue or holiday get together. And then we also got Stoneman and Sons Lure Company. You're going to get to customize your own 6-inch swim bait. So you're going to get on the phone with Pete or email and say, hey, here's the color scheme I'm thinking about, and he's going to make your dream come true. That's pretty cool, right? To have your own unique swim bait. So I'm really excited. And what we'll do is we will go live. We'll put all the names into a random selector, and we will draw our winner live. So that's a pretty good combo pack right there, just that's a lot of good.
Pretty good. Some new sponsors, man. It's pretty good.
It is. So we're excited that we're going to extend it so everybody can partake. More people can partake, and we'll go from there. Eugene Ramirez in the house. There
What's
it
up,
is.
Gino? That's a New Yorker.
Rams Customs. There he is. Brandon Cordani. What's up, Slayers? Right? That is our Connecticut 75 horsepower and lower. One of our directors in Connecticut. What's up, Brandon? That guy loves to cook. Brandon, we got to get you some Heat Your Meat. You're always doing stuff, smoking and doing all that stuff. All right, next. And just bear with me, y'all. I'm just getting over a little cold or something that went through the family this week. So I have a stuffy nose. That's it. Otherwise, I feel great. Now, our jersey drop, right? So our jersey drop, we're doing that again in-house because we could pump them out a little quicker, right? Slay Ray, he'll be hopping on in maybe 10 or 15 minutes. He had a work meeting that he was finishing up. We're doing them in-house again, old school grassroots style in the Pennsylvania basement. We are experimenting with a new, I don't know what you call it, pressing procedure, direct to garment instead of sublimation. And the reason we're doing that, we've always wanted to do darker color jerseys, and you can't do that with sublimation, what Ray has. We could never do it on a black, even though we're not doing a black jersey. We were close to choosing a black jersey, but then we're like, all right, people are going to fry. But we will be doing black stuff because I always loved black. I would love to see a white Slay Nation logo or something on a black shirt. Ooh, with some camo, right? We have some stuff in the works that we're experimenting with. And once we are happy with the transfer situation, as far as the the logo is being transferred to the shirt. Then we're going to post our 2024 jersey. I hope everybody really likes it. Our directors have seen it, right? And I love it. I'm really excited. It's got a nice little feel to it that I really enjoy. I don't want to give too much away, but we will showcase that so people know what they're going to be receiving.
It's definitely different than the other ones that race.
Right? Yeah, I like it. It's definitely different. Don't get me wrong. Z Pros last year, our jersey last year, or 2023, that was like awesome. I mean, like that's the best we ever had because they had the production manufactured capability to do all the really nice stuff on the shirt, hooded, all this and that. That was great. The only issue was we can only place one gigantic order, and that was it. After that, you couldn't order anymore. So with Ray, we can do a bunch of different orders, and possibly do some custom stuff for anybody interested. Right, we'll have more Slay apparel than we've had before. Right now, you can get some merch on our Slay Nation tournamentfishinggear.com. But that's through a drop shipper like Printful. So there's only so much apparel and kinds of apparel you can select, and there's a lot of really cool stuff that we've always wanted to do that we can't do using that. So that's where we'll lean on Ray and his masterness with his artistic stuff. So there's that. But just, man, we got to talk about Upstate New York Kayak Series, man. You guys crushed it every year. Last year was an awesome year, and it seems like you guys already have a sweet 2024 plan for your Slayers. Hey, there's Ray.
What's up, Ray?
How's it going?
What's up, Slayer?
How are you guys?
Good. How are you, man? Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little late.
I know you're busy, so
It's all good, bro.
Ray works 20 jobs, guys.
Yep. Yeah, man. 2023 was pretty good. It was our what was it? Our third year in Slay Nation for Upstate New York.
Yes.
My second year's director kind of took over at the end of the first year. Definitely our best year. We got this to show for it. Bring this up. Show everybody. So if you haven't seen this.
Oh, that's right.
This is the state championship that Slay Nation won.
Hell yeah.
The big blue trophy made by Catch. This thing is nice, man.
Is it heavy?
Oh, it's heavy.
That's got to be expensive to make.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
Is it sponsored by Dodge on that side?
It's Douglas Rods.
I'm just joking.
But if Dodge wants to jump on, that'd be cool too. Yeah, we won that in what was it? October 5th. We had the state championship. It was the first true state championship ever in New York. Every club in New York got together, put our heads together. This all really were spearheaded by Justin Hausner and NYKBF. They're kind of the league club of all of New York, man. They've been here the longest. They're kind of the standard for everybody. Great people. We work with them every year. And so we did that. We had 6 or 7 clubs in the state championship. Everybody brought their best 10. I doubt Slay Nation was favored to win that going into it. Actually, I know that. But we had pretty confident anglers on our team and kicked some ass that weekend, took the state championship home. Our guys ended up taking, man, it was like 10 grand in prizes and money in prizes, batteries, and you name it. So that was a crazy way to end the season for our guys.
Yeah,
and it was.
I love it. I love that.
Different.
I love that you guys, and I think that's important. And not to cut you off, but if anybody doesn't watch Bass After Dark podcast on Thursday nights with Brian Carpenter or Ken Duke, last night they were talking about pet peeves in the fishing, whatever. And Fat Cat was on there, which I feel weird calling him Fat Cat. The guy's lost so much weight. He was talking about, he's like, man, just so much negativity in the fishing industry, people bashing this and that. And but you talking about kayak clubs coming together and doing that. I love hearing that stuff. Because think about the opportunities that the directors, they put their when people put their egos aside, some really cool stuff can happen. And you guys provided, the directors out there in New York, you guys provided such a cool experience for those fishermen that got to experience it, that are probably cannot wait for next year's.
Oh,
and like that is what it's all about. I love that.
Yeah, it's a different aspect because it's still the solo individual. Everybody's still gunning for that state championship individual award, which Bailey won that from NYKBF. He's actually a Slay Nation member this year himself, but he won that. But it was more to that. It's the team aspect of it. You had your 10 guys plus the 2 directors, and it was the team concept that kind of changed things for us, and everybody was talking, what hot bait was going, what should be working that day, and what was going on in practice that was helping each other. And then it came down to the tournament, and every single person on the team put fish on the board. So it was pretty cool to see something like that come together. And that was after, we had a great schedule this year. We lucked out. Like 2022, it seemed like every tournament that we had, it was bad weather. It was cold as hell. It was snowing, raining, you name it, it happened. And then this year, every tournament was just almost mint, except for St. Lawrence. We had to cut that short by like half an hour for thunder and lightning. But up until it started at like 1 o'clock, we were good. It was a pretty good day. So it was a great year, man. We learned a lot. We still, nothing's perfect. We're still trying to change, our the way we do some things with Angler of the Year and trying to balance everything out. So everybody's got a fair shake. Everybody gets a fair shake at getting into the state championship because only 10 can get in. It's pretty cutthroat getting into that. Yeah. It wasn't so bad this year being the first year of it, but now that everybody's seen it and seen what you can do and the money you can win and and you can get your name out there pretty big, some of these big companies. And so now we got more people that are signing up for our club just to try to make a run at that state championship. So it gives you more opportunities.
Yeah. I agree, which is awesome, which I love.
What are the changes that you're bringing? What's something that like you're most excited about, or you think your anglers are going to be most excited about
for 2024? We kind of changed things this year, and we're trying to. We kind of dubbed our club the Season of Opportunity for 2024. We changed up our schedule and aligned it with a lot of major organizations and what they got going on. So if you got our schedule pulled up, 5/18, we have our first tournament with another club. It's NYKBF. It's the premier kayak club in New York. They have anywhere from 50 to 100 guys fishing their tournaments. So we're doing a dual event there. So that's an opportunity for our guys to win a lot of money, lots of trophies and prizes and things like that.
It's a lot of eyes on Slay Nation.
Oh yeah. And then we got several tournaments like that. The whole season's like that. 6-1, 6-2 is actually the weekend that Hobie BOS is coming up here to Cayuga Lake. So it wasn't a mistake that I had that on the schedule for Slay Nation to be there 6-1. I've had some insight before their schedule came out that they might come to Cayuga that day. So we put our schedule kind of lined up with that. That gives our anglers another opportunity. You don't have to leave the state of New York. You can go right down to Cayuga Lake, and you have your opportunity to fish in arguably the best kayak fishing tournament series in the world, Hobie Bass Open Series, and win a ton of money and get a ton of name recognition out there.
Ray, that's the one we're going to.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge weekend.
I'm ready.
It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
awesome.
And then even in August, we're going outside New York for the first time. I don't think we've ever done an outside New York tournament for Slay Nation Upstate New York. Actually, I'm positive of that. So the Civil War, we changed it up this year. The first 2 years we've done Civil War versus Pennsylvania. It's always been at Cayuga Lake. It's been a blast. Our guys love going to it.
It was awesome to judge it. It made me sad.
Yeah, you did judge that too. There's a lot of work judging that one.
Was that? Did I judge that one? Did I help with that one too?
I think it was you.
Yeah, it's the one that was 300 fish.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just
I remember.
tournament.
I had a soccer, because I coached my daughter's soccer team. I remember being at the field, like, I got to check some fish.
Refresh 29 submissions. You're like, what the hell?
I never want to do this again. I just want to fish it.
Dude, sometimes not for nothing, speaking like judging, like if I judge like an online thing or whatever, like it is what, like, and you have a lot, like, especially like a tournament you guys had, you judge like 30 fish, like fairly quick and you're all good. You're like, all right, I'm all caught up. 5 minutes later, it's like
boom,
another 40. You're like, oh my God. I just looked at how many fish today.
Yeah, that's awesome. We love doing that with Pennsylvania, man. That's kind of our like brother club, man. Slay Ray,
TJ,
and Jake Stem always, back 3 years ago when he got it going. Those three guys and Josh and myself, man, we kind of work well together. So we always put on a good event. Ray's killing it with the plaques the last couple of years. Our guys always get something cool coming out of that. Even if you're just on the team that wins it, there's something cool for you in that. So this year we're going to the Susky. So it's the first time of the New Yorkers going down to PA. Ooh. I'm super excited. That's probably my favorite tournament of the year, just because I went down to the Susky in 2022 for their Hobie BOS. The most fun fishing I think I've ever had in a kayak was on the Susky, and that's a guy that lives by the St. Lawrence. So I'm excited to get our guys down there for the Susky. I don't know if that date is set in stone. I think we still got to work that detail out, but yeah, it's just we're going to be on the Susky and sometime this summer. So,
and is that now you guys have the agreement where the club that wins chooses the location the following year, correct?
Yeah, we've done it that way, but nice. We won the first two being on Cayuga. So, we don't want to just, and we could have kept it on Cayuga because everybody there, and I'm talking PA guys, they are like, no, just keep it on Cayuga again. They didn't care. Yeah. They just wanted to keep coming back.
Yeah, so, it's hard to say, no, come to Pennsylvania and fish a lake that has even a third of the potential Cayuga has. It's like, yeah, let's go back up to Cayuga.
and it's not that much of a difference in travel time for a lot of us. Like it's 3 hours for me. Like a lot of these guys, it's 3 hours for Pennsylvania guys. So it just kind of works out. So the way we work, and that was one of the reasons we put Cayuga Lake for our schedule on June 1st is because a lot of the PA guys still want to come up and fish that. And being that they're Slay Nation members, they don't have to pay anything extra. They can come up and fish our any of these tournaments anytime they want. Yeah. And a lot of the PA guys are going to come up for that Cayuga event. It's also the Hobie BOS, so it just gives them more opportunity. And we'll return the favor coming down to the Susky, and hopefully they don't put up too bad of a beating on us down on the Susky. But
yeah, is that Susky event? Is there a native watercraft big bass?
No.
Okay.
So that's why we kept it like roughly around 8-10 because each of the last 2 years it's been right around that time that native came down there. So we were hoping that it was going to be right around that, but they're not coming down till like middle or late October.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, they changed it. So we won't have them there. We won't have and Hobie's not going to the Susky, I don't think, this year. So yeah, this is our only opportunity really to fish the Susky, which is not a bad thing. If you fish the Hobie there, it's 250 guys on the Susky is chaos, just walking on top of each other. And, so being just Slay Nation there for that Susky event would be kind of cool. Keep it open and gives everybody a little bit more freedom. On top of each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our schedule. And then we finish our schedule off with, of course, we have our Angler of the Year Championship on 9/14, but the state championship again next year, October 5th, because we won the championship this year. We got to choose the location where the host club next year. So we already chose our location, Three Rivers. It's down by Oneida Lake, and it's huge. I can't even remember how many miles of river that we have, but it's just a giant ass river that you could probably fish a couple 100-yard stretch. You won't see any other kayakers. It's just that big. So perfect spot. We don't have to worry about the weather and things like that come October. And you know how it is planning a tournament out a year in advance. You're always like, what the hell's the weather going to be? Especially when we did Oneida Lake this year. Oneida Lake's one of the worst places to plan weather. So we were extremely worried about that. And then the wind did come in for that tournament, so we had to open up boundaries. So we made it a river fishing tournament this year. So, and it kind of followed the same theme. That's
awesome.
We have a rivers only tournament on July 13th. And that is every single public river in the state of New York. You could fish any of them you want. As long as you're in the river, you get to fish that event. That's kind of like an online, but it's a single-day tournament, which gets you prepared for the following event being on the Susky, which follows you to the Invitational on Three Rivers. So it gets you a lot of river experience. Or if you just like river fishing out of a kayak, this schedule is definitely built for you this year. We got a good mixture of both.
Yeah, it's so. I think that what a great idea because when you get so conformed to fishing large lakes and ponds or whatever, depending on where you live, like river fishing, like the Susquehanna, like that style river fishing is like I miss that. Like I miss river fishing. Like we don't have that here in Connecticut. I can't do that for any tournaments. We have the Connecticut River, but that's huge. It's a huge river. It's not like your typical, lay downs here and there, boulders. Maybe you have to get out of your kayak for a little bit and pull it over some rocks. That's like fun fishing. Like the fact that you guys mixed it up like that, one, I think it's really good. Like in the sometimes tournament seasons can feel really long, and you feel like you're fishing the same style, and you're gravitating towards the same techniques you typically always do at every body of water. But now when you're on a river, you got to change it up. The scenery, the whole layout is different. Like that's fun. It's a great way to break up your tournament year or season. And also at the end of the year, your anglers are going to look back and say, wow, like I feel confident fishing rivers now, or, and it's just going to make them better, which makes them even want to come back again and look forward to, hitting that body of water.
It challenges them.
Yeah.
Which I love about Slay Nation, because there's so many buddy tournaments here in Pennsylvania and these trails that don't go beyond the points of the same spot. So it's like you're giving them the opportunity to not only tournament fish, but try new waters, try new techniques, and try new things.
Yeah.
So it fits right in with the mentality, and I love it.
It does, especially with a lot of our guys. I mean, probably 3/4 of our club is still local guys that just fish grassroots only, or grassroots clubs only. They don't get a chance to fish major trails. So going down to the Susky is going to be a major change for them. It's not it's obviously not a huge traveled thing for them. It's only 4 or 5 hours for most people. So it gives them an opportunity to get out of it. It's going to be a great event.
You guys are willing to travel. That's another.
Well, you guys keep coming up here. We got to return a favor too. And I got to fish the Susky. I'd say almost all of our guys have probably not fished the Susky, including my father and Josh Fusen, and a lot of the guys are going. I have to give them that experience of fishing the Susky. Anybody that's fished it knows exactly what I'm talking about, especially in August, September, October timeframe. Man, it's just good for anglers. It's weird how things change. When you first get into being a director, you're like, man, you're worried about the schedule and how it's going to look and all that, And then a couple of years fast forward into it, and it's just about, for Josh and I, it's just about giving opportunities to our guys, giving all of our people more places to fish, different places to go, opportunities to get their name out. A lot of guys have small YouTube channels and social media that they want to get out there. So this is their opportunity to do that. 2024 is definitely going to be the year, especially for our club. I don't know about the other clubs. I don't know if I've seen all their schedules, but I know we've got one of the most unique schedules in the country this year, and it's definitely challenging at the same time. So, there's nothing about Oneida, Cayuga. Some of those places are pretty challenging still.
Yeah. It's exciting to see. I'm excited to follow your season. I'd love to say I'd like to get out to a couple, but like Frankie said, I work 5 jobs. Kind of working right now. It's the text messages and the piddle paddle you hear on my keyboard.
I got you, man. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I took a new job this year, so that was kind of the big change for me. Is I went from a remote job back to
going into
regular, a field job. So I'm always out on the traveling and can't fish as much, man. And it's just the way it is. And then you got family, you got to take care of that first. Like, that always comes before fishing. But
yep,
well, so you do an awesome job, Josh. Justin and Josh do an awesome job.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we got a good team going. Josh has been a big help, man, too. It's like, when I did this the first year, it was just me by myself. Don't do that, man. Like, if you got somebody offering to help you, I know, like you guys got you and TJ doing that. Like,
it's so much more fun when you have a co-director. It's one, it's fun, right? But two, like, and I tell, like, we brought on 6-7 new directors for next year. And I tell them, I go, listen, this is just like anything else. Like, it's whatever you put into it is what your trail is going to be, right? And if you're reaching out to local sponsors, you have to do that. That's how you build your community. Like, I tell them all the time, like, listen, I will promote all of Slay Nation. That's my job, right? But I can't promote you locally. I don't live there, right? So how do you build a club within your local area? And when you have a partner to do that, and you can divide and conquer, I mean, that's where the really fun stuff is, because I guarantee you and Josh probably say, whether it's you or him, you're like, hey, Josh, guess what, man? I just spoke to this company. Here's what they're going to do. He's probably jacked. Dude, great job. Awesome. And that motivates him. Hey, Josh, guess what? I just spoke with yada, yada, yada. And you're like, dude, like, and it kind of just snowballs, right? And then now you got 5 to 6 extra things going on that are going to help your anglers, help your club. That's fun. That's when the fun stuff starts happening. That's what I like with Slay Nation, like when we get like new partners, new sponsors, right? It's important to have long lasting ones, but it's also important to grow some new ones. And like as we're talking right now, I just got an email, right? We have a potential another new sponsor. It's an energy drink sponsor. I can't talk too much about it because I got a, whatever. But that was because one of our other directors had a connection. And like this is, I know that sometimes sponsorships and, we can go down a rabbit hole with this, but like when you think of tournament fishing, like the first thing that comes to my mind is sponsorships, whether it's an angler or a company. It's like
it's a money-driven business, man.
Yeah, and
what it is.
It's just like you're like, all right, but listen, is it a daunting task, and is the industry much smaller now that you're like kind of in it? And it's like, yes, it is, but at the same time, that's one of my favorite parts of doing all this is learning to meet these business owners or these companies that you think are going to align well with your anglers, and are they going to enjoy those products? And so
I think it's cool too, because you get more of the, you get those national trail sponsors for the Slay Nation, like Z Pro and Dark Horse Tackle and Martins and these guys. And it's cool to intermingle that with local sponsors like Gino. Gino has been a Slay Nation sponsor for I think 3 straight years. Yeah, he is the first to jump on every year. He doesn't even wait for us to give us paperwork. He's like, I'm on. You already know I'm on with you. And he hooked us up really good this year with a cool package. I can't really talk about it too much yet, but he hooked us up pretty good and just taking care of our anglers. But it's cool to work with the local businesses. That's how you really grow it. You get local businesses in the community, and you get anglers that they have businesses in the community, and you intermingle that with your national sponsors and national trails, and that's how it grows, man. It's pretty fun.
It's the best. That's one of my favorite things. Like, so Heat Your Meat and Martin's Custom Lures, they're from Connecticut, right? And that's how this all first started was talking with them. Steve Martin, who owns Martin's Custom Baits. I talked to him about Slay Nation like 2 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And then, coming on as like a partner, right? Providing a local discount and stuff like that. And then he's like, hey, I got a buddy that owns like a seasoning company. I'm like, oh yeah, let me talk to him. And now like there's like Heat Your Meat. You see a lot of people talking about it now in the fishing industry. And I'm like, Mark, welcome to the fishing world, dude. And he loves it. But like that was a local, these are 2 local sponsors that became organizational sponsors. And now you're seeing people get their products tried. That's one of my favorite things. If there's anything I ever could take away from Slay Nation is seeing everybody succeed and have fun with it, whether it's our directors or our sponsors, partners, like getting the name out there. And that's one of the most gratifying things I take away from this.
I love seeing the enthusiasm from our sponsors, from our directors, like Justin, you and Josh. I know it's on our group text, but there's plenty of smack talk going back, but like the hype that happens to when we show up to the events. And then it even happens with like, Connecticut has lifetimer Slay Nation members. I joke around all the time. They're lifetimers, G-Rock, and we text message each other. And Mark, Heat Your Meat, I went up there. I went on vacation and I went to a outdoor event and he was supposed to be there, and it ended up raining and windy, and we still met up. And it's like, it's just the enthusiasm and meeting the people and then just seeing it all the way through. So we got to get Mark fishing with us one time.
Yeah, I invited him and Steve to do like a vendor tournament here in Connecticut. That's awesome. And so we'll figure that out. But there's a lot of things we want to do. There's so many things, like I still on my list, my honey list is to do a whole Slay Nation director meetup. That's still one of the target goals. It's like cool. Anybody that can make it,
make it happen. But you were saying local sponsors too. So Justin, the gentleman who's helping your trail, is a bait shop, correct?
Oh yeah, we got a couple different ones.
Yeah, so it's like, dude, when I go up there to fish an event, I'm going to stop at those bait shops.
Yep.
Bounty hunters. I stop at bounty hunters every time I go to Connecticut. That's the hookup. Like, you're drawing people from outside the area to come check out your spots.
Exactly. Yeah, we had a guy from, I think, Pennsylvania or Connecticut last year or the year before win a custom swim bait from Gino. Like, how else was he gonna meet up with Gino and get a custom swim bait for him. Like he won it by chance, and then that can lead to another relationship between them. That's just what we're trying to set up, and it worked out with Gino. I'll tell you what, little insight on our 2024 season that most people don't know this. It's between me and Josh right now, but like this year, I think we had maybe $800, $900 in prizes and cash for like local sponsors. And then that's a good thing, man. That's on top of all the stuff that Slay Nation does. This year we've already, and it's not even 2024 yet, we've got $3,600 or $3,200 in cash and prizes. Yeah, it's crazy how much things have changed.
Coming up there, son.
Yeah. So
pencil what?
I won't say any names until it's locked in, but like for example, we have a custom or we have a very high end fishing rod that you get every single tournament this year at any of our tournaments. You win one. We haven't decided it's going to be big bass or something like that, but you're going to win a $200, $300, $400 rod just for catching one fish, a big bass, possibly at our event. And that's all of our events this year, 2024.
Sick.
And we've
Frankie,
got
we
several
have a
sponsors
chance.
like that.
We don't have to go beat these hammers. We just got to go catch
one
fish, man.
Just go catch a big one.
Hey, speaking of catching a big one, Heat Your Meat has stepped up, and for every single Slay Nation state that has a club, right? They're going. Mark has stepped up. We're going to create a plaque, which I created the image, and at the end of the season, the Slay Nation angler that has the biggest bass in that state out of live events, has to be during a Slay Nation event, when they Heat Your Meat Big Bass State Championship plaque. So for example, Connecticut, we did this last year. He wanted to do it as a local sponsor. We had how many clubs last year? 3 clubs last year. The biggest fish out of all the Slay Nation Connecticut clubs got a belt, right? And so I had to be in contact with the directors. Like every Monday after an event, I'd be like, hey, hey Jeff, hey Dave, what was your biggest bass this weekend? All right, 19 and a half, 20 inches, and I would keep tally who had the largest. It was 21 and a half, won it. It was a guy at Ryan Brown out of my club, and Heat Your Meat stepped up. He wanted to do something for every state Slay Nation club. So if you're in a state with multiple, it'll be the same thing, the biggest out of all. Now, it's not a team award. It's the actual angler that caught it. So if you do fish in our horsepower or small vessel series with a teammate, it's whoever caught the fish, right? That's the cool. Heat Your Meat hot seat. So we
get to go against the Long Island guys, right?
Yes.
That's cool.
How
for me.
excited
I like
is
that.
Long Island here?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is cool because they're kind of like they are a part of New York, but because they're on a little peninsula.
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're just that's their own people, man.
Man, you really do want to start a war with everybody.
I just got back from there
Jersey.
yesterday, man. That city is its own breed of people.
It is. New York City, God bless them.
They're good. Yeah, that place, man.
Dude, that's funny.
But yeah, it's great that you got that series there because we were talking, Josh and I were like, man, does that mean a kayaker has to face a guy in a boat for like a 20-inch fish? I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome because we know we catch big ones up here in our kayaks.
Oh, you guys probably catch them bigger than Long Island.
Oh, I'm sure we do.
No,
I mean, not me, but the rest of the guys.
Long Island, I think, has 3 ponds. Yeah. Jim, he's a great guy. I actually met him in Connecticut here. We had our AOI championship on Squance Pond, which is right next to Candlewood. And in the morning, I had we had 24 teams there, and we're getting ready, and we take up the whole friggin' parking lot. I'm like, I don't know who this is. Who's this guy with New York plates? Really nice guy. Had his buddy had 40 rods on the deck of his John boat, no lie. And then he stayed. They fished the whole day in their crawdads and John boats. He's like, this is awesome. He saw our live weigh-in, and then he hit me up afterwards. But I remember being like, Jim, is there even largemouth bass on Long Island, dude? Like, I'm being honest. And he was like, we were sort of laughing. He's like, yeah, there's a few good lakes. There's like a really old Bassmaster Club here. And he's like, yeah, we have Lake Montauk. And I'm like, the only Montauk I know about is really good striper fishing. Yeah.
So, one thing too about Long Island, I'm on a local hunting thing where you can buy hunts. There's a rabbit hunting thing for Long Island. I'm like, there is no chance in hell I'm ever going to New York with a gun to rabbit hunt. Like, not Staten Island, not anywhere.
Up here to do that, but down there, nah, I'm good.
Not over there.
Nah, yeah.
Hey, we got Armando in the house. What's up, Armando? That's the Ricky Ricardo of kayak bass fishing right there. Yes, hey, go check out Bass Kayak and Beers, y'all. Awesome, one of my top 5 favorite podcasts
for sure.
Nice. All right, so New York looks like it's going to have a great season ahead of them. We're excited to see how that goes. Now let's kind of dive into, right? We're wrapping up 2023. We're heading into a brand new year, brand new slate for many people. Resolutions are going to be flying everywhere, whether it's personal, fishing related, whatever. Let's talk about like some predictions for 2024. Now this could be anything. It could be who we think the top kayak angler is going to be next year, big boat, elite series. What do we think might be the most popular technique, right? With forward facing sonar. Is it going to be, the hover rig? I don't know. Right. So we could start this conversation because I like anybody out there. If you're a fish head, start listening to podcasts. Like if you're a kayak angler, don't just listen to kayak angler podcasts. Go listen to the big boat stuff as well, because this industry has got this is the part of being a fan. There's so much going on, right? That you should probably know about, learn about, but also it's just exciting and it'll keep your interest peaking and kind of what's going on, especially in the tournament scene, right? It's heavy tournament topics. But there's just some really cool stuff out there. There's new league that's possibly coming to fruition with the big boat stuff, like the touring Anglers Association, $300,000 payouts, whatever. NPFL announces their 2024 roster, which there are some big names on that roster that people are going to be like, wait, what? They're fishing that now? So it's just really exciting time. Go listen to podcasts, all of them. If you need a list, let us know. I'll give you my list of I listen to about fishing related 10 to 15 different podcasts. Because everybody has different types of information to share. But let's talk about that, because 2024 is going to be I think there's a lot of changes in the industry, which is fun, right? Some are better than others, but let's talk about the kayak world, right? The kayak world, like Russ Snyder's has been the dominance, right? He has been the dominator. You hear his name everywhere, winning the big national trails, and the 3 national trails just basically are still Hobie, even KBF, right? People still fish they still have their national championship guys still.
It's Hobie and Bass are
Hobie and Bass
kind of run the show now.
1 and 2s.
Hobie's been around longer than Bass, right? On that,
yes,
yeah. For the kayak city,
Bass isn't not even 10 years.
No, it's not. It was taken over last 2023. It was taken over by, is it Steve Fields?
Steve Owens.
Or Steve Owens. I'm sorry, Steve Owens. And Steve Owens, man, just corrected so many of the mistakes that they were making on Bass, and they had a great year this year. I've never gotten to fish it, but looking from the outside in, I'm like, man, that's a series I'd love to fish if they were up in our area sometime. Yeah,
it seems like Steve, he's a kayak guy, so he's in the industry, knows it now, right? And that's exactly I think beforehand, I forgot who was directing it beforehand or doing,
it's like a boat guy.
Yeah, but I'll never forget when everybody were like, oh, the Bassmaster Kayak Classic, and they were having the English. We were like, dude, that was horrible. Like the terrible. MC or whoever didn't obviously know what the hell he was talking about. And then Steve Owens came in, and for anybody that paid attention, very professional, organized, knew what the anglers wanted, did a great job representing Bassmaster. So really helped turn that around. And I think a lot of us recognize that. Well, I know New York had a Bass Nation kayak, but it's not happening next year.
Oh, it is actually now.
It is. They got a new director?
They got a new director. He's actually a Slay Nation angler, so I kind of know some insight on it. But that kind of fell apart. It just wasn't having a lot of attendance, man. They'd have 6, 8, 10 guys if they're lucky. And it's not a knock on the director or anything like that. It's just sometimes it's there's just too much in the saturation in this area.
Yes.
And if you're not trying to work with other clubs and trying to do dual events and things like that, you're going to have problems.
Yes.
So the new director that's taken over, I'm not going to announce any names until they put all that out. But
yeah.
He already reached out to other clubs that are actually having schedules already going. It's like, hey, what do you think about our schedule if we do it? That's how you, I think, build it better with the grassroots club that's already going.
100%.
So yeah, we're probably like 8:31. We got an event on Fulton Chain. It's like a series of like 5 lakes up here in the Adirondacks, and they might jump on. So we might have New York Bassmaster Kayak Series with us. But yeah, it's that changed a lot, but that's the lead in to get yourself to the Bassmaster Kayak Classic, is that they're calling it.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is the first year with Steve running it too that I'm interested to see how they run it at the Classic coming up in a couple months.
Yes.
And once I see this, if it's how it's going, then it'll probably dictate if I participate a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, then Hobie's made a lot of changes this year too, man. Have you seen the changes they made?
Yeah, they got the motors finally,
which we already knew that was coming. I mean,
I think that's the thing. It's like I get it. They were a series that never allowed motors, right? We understand why. They're pushing their Hobie products and stuff like that, and they announced it, and I know when I saw it, I was like, all right, whatever. Everybody's age for this elite series, right? And will it matter? Who knows? We'll find out. I don't think so, but
I don't think it matters.
I think the
more people will fish it.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I mean, it's going to sell out. So here's the thing. Those events are known to sell out like this. So now they're probably going to sell it even faster if you got more people. So that's a good and bad, right? Because here's what I mean. Because I think they cap at like what, 200,
like 250 now or 250.
All right. Let's just say let's just say not that the attendance or the interest will, let's double whatever it might be. You're going to have many more people trying to get in. Now, if they can't, will that hurt? I don't know. Will that hurt? Let's just say a top name registers late, right? Registers
I think they fixed that though. They have it so that if you made the top the top 50 the previous season, you get early bird registration on their events.
Okay.
I think they fixed that. So like that way, people that are in the running for Angler of the Year can't get
get
kept out of a tournament
or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good.
I think they fixed that, but
good.
They worked with Dwayne Wally on that. Dwayne he's an awesome guy. So
Dwayne's the man.
Dwayne's the man. But yeah, they fixed that. I think and everybody that's complaining about it, you got to understand where it's coming from, man. They're sponsored by Torqeedo. Torqeedo is a motor. Torqeedo's going to want their Torqeedos on the kayaks during the tournament. It just makes sense. So it's just a matter of time. And they did keep 2 events non-motorized for
I saw that.
People that want to keep it grassroots kind of style. But honestly, like a place like Cayuga, it's Cayuga Lake. You almost have to have a motor these days. I mean, you don't have to. It really helps. I will just say I've done it both ways. It just really, really helps.
100%. Yeah,
it doesn't help catch fish, but it does help you get to them.
Yeah, I still have a sit-in kayak. I paddle.
Yeah.
Me too. I paddle, but I got to sit on top. I upgraded.
And then I got a John boat with a trolling motor. It is nice having a motor. But I also like the old school kayak stuff too.
I have a question for you guys. One, I have 2 questions, 2-part. Do you do any of the fantasy fishing leagues?
100%.
You do?
Of course. Yeah.
Really?
I'm a fantasy junkie, man.
Okay. I don't. I see it and it makes me laugh every time, and it's because I don't understand it. But I'm always like, I guess fun. There's a market.
It's just a way to root for different anglers during a bass event, an elite event. But I started getting into it because of Bailey and Andy at Serious Angler. They do like a preview for it every week when they have an event coming. And do like a fantasy preview, and like they talk about each angler and the price how everybody's in a different bucket and why they're in the certain buckets. And I like that kind of stuff though. So
it's fun. I love rooting for I like rooting for like for the elites, the fantasy fishing, Bassmaster. Obviously I always choose Ike because Ike's our boy.
I do the same thing.
And we have 2 Connecticut guys. We have Paul Mueller
from
Connecticut, and we have Alex Wetherall I still pick them because I feel like it's like fantasy football. Like I'm a Patriot fan. They suck, but I still have to pick them. I got to pick them in my pick 'em league because I'm like, what kind of fan would I be if I don't pick the hometown, my boys? And I mean, does it hurt me sometimes? 100%. Alex was a rookie this past season. But next year, like a little sleeper, dude. I like Jonathan Kelly. He's also sponsored by Martin's Custom Baits. He's a quiet cat, young
PA
cat.
guy?
Huh?
Is he from PA?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's like he's really dialed in, focused. So sometimes you gotta pay attention to that and be like, all right, is this dude just looking for become famous on social media, or you could tell like that he's really into like, all right, I want to crush it this year. So I like the fantasy. I do the fantasy too.
I love the fantasy stuff. I'm going to be picking Ben Milliken for all of my picks this year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I tried Ryan Nye, but he's not on the roster. It's weird.
Yeah, that happens.
Ryan Nye, kid, watch out. He's coming up here.
Everybody's going to be upset about the because now you got a YouTuber making it to the Elite Series, like a YouTuber. But the
dude can slay. The dude
he
could
crushes
slay.
fish.
He don't care about what anybody thinks of him, and people are scared, man. People
because he's authentic as hell. And he doesn't need sponsorship because he's already got it from his YouTube channel.
He doesn't.
That's why he wears a jersey that says 402 across it with no sponsorship on it, and everybody's just like, "You're leaving money behind." He's like, "I don't give a shit."
No,
he's like, "I'm just here to catch fish."
Exactly. He's gonna be the, like you said earlier and backstage, like he's like the next generation of like Ike. Like
it is, man.
Going against the grain and stuff.
I think he will be. If he's successful, which I think he will be, and he can prolong this for longer than I think they get 3 years when they first start.
Yeah.
If he gets going on this tour for a while and his channel is going to go along with it, man, it's going to.
He's going to help. That's the other thing too. Someone else was talking about this on another podcast a while back when he was doing the opens. They're like, dude, guys like him, he's going to bring that whole audience to Bassmaster.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just going to help. Hopefully it helps grow the sport, the industry, whatever, but it's exposure. And that's like what the kayak world needs. That's what the kayak world needs in order to get to that professional league, right? To have one, because there isn't one. There's no professional kayak league, right? And, or to have that one major, like elite series, they need, right? Bassmaster could capitalize on it if they maybe make a few adjustments because they have the brand to do it. And they have the means to do it. Like that's the only thing that the kayak world is missing is like a few characters per se, right? That
Bass is definitely the one that just like how many people fish bass for bass and don't grow up be like, man, I want to be on a Bassmaster stage or have a blue trophy from bass. So the opportunity is there in their pocket. It's just they got to capitalize on it. I think they will with Steve running it. It's just hard with the amount of the tournaments, the way they schedule them, because a lot of that is Texas and Alabama and things like that. And it's just like anything, it's hard to get people to come up to the Northeast or the Northwest. I'm sure it's the same problem up there, but eventually they'll come up to Cayuga or something like that. So.
Yeah, but Milliken, he wins one blue trophy. If he wins one event, it's going to be like, oh, damn, here we go.
Yeah, do you think he'll win one in his first year? I mean, I know it's like next to it's so hard to do for those guys, but
I mean, that's the other thing too is like people like these anglers, like the Elite Series anglers, they're so good.
They're on a whole nother planet.
These guys are so good. Like even our local hammers, you think like all right, we think they're good. You get like, oh my God. Like I remember I fished way before Slay Nation, I fished as a co-angler, a non-boater in the American Bass Anglers. And I drew, and Paul Mueller, we're like the same age. And I knew about him. I knew he was really good and this and that.
Old?
And I
said, he's that old?
Yeah, thanks, right. And whatchamacallit. And I drew his boat 2 tournaments in a row on 2 of his best bodies of water here, Candlewood, and I drew him on Lake Lillanona, which he grew up on. And I was like, oh my God, I was so nervous. I was nervous. I don't know why I was nervous, but I was just like, all right, hopefully I can learn something. And I'll never forget, like just everything was just different. All the tackle was different. We pull up to a spot immediately and he's dipping his jig and spike it and stuff. And he's like it was early April, it was cold as hell, and he's bouncing it fast, right? And I'm like, smallmouth right off the bat, first cast, right to a spot. And then we go to another spot. He's like, oh, Frankie, come on, we're going to hit another spot. He just knew where these fish were. And the way he was, I don't know, like I'm like thinking, I'm like, oh, you got to maybe slow down the jig. And he was, this guy was hopping it, catching fish. And like every spot we go to, this guy was, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, these guys
are on another level, man.
Yeah. I was like, dude, not for nothing. You're just like, the everyday fisherman is like not even close to these guys. So like Ben, I would love to see him win one. Do I think he has a chance to win one? I think absolutely. Any of those guys, even GDP. Yeah. Someone GDP.
Is that, he's talking about Greg?
Greg DePalma. Yeah.
That dude is a fucking hammer, man. I love watching that guy fish.
He fishes kayak events. He's
won a couple of them.
I know. He's one of the big, like you kind of need some of these big boat guys to fish these kayak events to kind of like move that needle for businesses to be like, oh wow, what's going on over here? Like there's a much like I don't know if you're like a business owner in the fishing industry, there's got to be some people like, all right, there's a whole new market over here. Like
there's a lot of money in this.
You know what I'm saying? How can we tap into this? Look at like these dudes are just and gals are just as dedicated. I mean, look at Christine Fisher. She's one of the most popular. Russ is right. Killer.
Russ, Drew Gregory, all those guys. I mean,
Drew Gregory, killer. And those are guys that use paddles and like 2 rods. But Christine Fisher is like the face of kayak
100%.
fishing. Like she is so good. And I think I've seen posts, right? I think she's going to dabble in some Bass Opens.
I've heard that.
Next year, which I hope she does, because how freaking cool would that be? She's going to, and that's another thing. She's going to bring all of her following into that, right? And so if you have like this cross, you got the Palma, the GDP bringing in, and Ike and Nelly, he dabbles in the kayak stuff now, and then you have Christine bringing her following into the bit. Like, dude, that's how you really get some things flowing.
And GDP and Ike are the only ones that have crossed over, really, I think, isn't it? And they both won, I think, a Bass event on both sides.
Yeah, I think so.
I think GDP won the first one he ever did down in like Florida or something. Did a big Bassmaster kayak tournament.
He did, yeah. He's you could tell he's smart. He's like, all right, let me check out this, because think about it. Like if he has sponsors, he can target the big boat crowd, and now he can start targeting the kayak crowd. Yeah. Like, dude, that's like, hello, like let's go. Jacob Fouts, get on a kayak, dude. You want some sponsors? Like,
just like Jake Stem's talking, like Jordan Lee. Jordan Lee he's a big name, and like he's in with Native, and he's a kayaker. He's not like a boat guy at all, but he's a YouTuber. Greg Blanchard's got a hell of a following.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, everybody knew about him.
That guy and he's from up here, like he's from Cable Lake, so.
And you need some of those. You need some of those influencers and those anglers to help escalate the kayak, stuff to where all the kayak anglers want to see it go.
Yeah. I think there's other people too that are coming. I mean, like Bailey's local. I mean, I know he's
that dude's so good
in New York.
He's good. That dude,
I've been telling people for 3 years to watch out for this dude, because there's nobody more dedicated on the water than that guy. Nobody. I've never met anybody like that in my life. The guy will go on the water for 12 hours straight and just graph and not throw a fishing rod at all day, just graphing. And I'm like, that's dedication, man. That's what it takes to be on that level that he's at. And that's why he dominates in New York. And he's dominated. Like, he did a Hobie series. I think he did like the schedule last year, and he won one of the big ones, like Toledo Bend. I think he's got, with Serious Angler Podcast, it's another big podcast, one of my favorites. Those kind of guys too, through the kayak world, will get their name out too. Eventually, it'll just keep it'll keep growing.
Yeah. Wolf of Walmart just got me a kayak recently. It's changing fishing for me. Awesome. Wolf of Walmart, I got to say, dude, you got one of the best stashes in the game, bro. Right. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. Would love to see Christine do some Bass Opens, get in that big boat world, because I think she could crush it. Like she could slay. Yeah. End of story. We all know it. Whatchamacallit? What about like techniques or baits? What do you guys think's going to be like some of the hot, remember the chatterbait came out, right? I mean, that's always in everybody's, tied on everybody's rod. Wacky rig, Nico rig, whatever. Ned rig was hot. last year, swim baits, the big swim bait craze is like starting to take over, like especially like Northeast guys. We have a Slay Nation member in Connecticut who makes his own swim baits. He has his own mold, created his own mold, his own style, and then airbrushes them. And it's like that craze is like really making its way to the East Coast and to the colder states. Who's the Slay Nation member in your club that fishes all swim baits? What's his name again?
Jose.
That's it. I want to get him in touch with this guy.
No, nobody's got a collection like that guy. Did you ever see his collection?
I think I did on a live when we.
It was a live. We did a live once, and he was on it, and he did he panned across his back workshop. I thought it was like a workbench, and it was just like one section, and then he panned down the wall, and the whole wall from start to finish is just swim baits.
That's a dedication.
His wife collects them. His kids collect them.
Yeah,
it's crazy. He's just a super good dude. He's one of my favorite people in kayak fishing. He's one of the best dudes I've ever met.
Jake Stem
he is the big bait king. He's not lying.
Big bait king.
Yeah, he's a great.
I got to get him in touch with Renato. Renato's the slayer that makes them, and they look really good. I'm not gonna lie, they look really good. You have to get him out here.
I haven't heard anything about this hover rig, so tell me about this hover rig, man. I don't know anything about this. You know anything about
the hover rig? You haven't seen the hover rig?
I have not seen it.
So it's all right. I'll see if I can find. But it's basically, think of a jig head, right? Think of a jig head, and it's instead of it being like a ball at the end where you have the line tie here, it's a little bit more cylindrical and longer, right? And so the weight actually goes further down the hook. Okay. And then the way you rig it is at the hook, instead of being closer to the head of the lure, it's more, it basically makes it so that your lure is like horizontal, right? Instead of going nose down or looking like this, hanging from your line, right? It goes, it's like in the middle here, right? And it's used because you can suspend it better, and it just always has like a horizontal presentation. Core Tackle makes the hook. It gets pushed into the soft plastic. It's a killer for scoping. Justin, I'll look it up real quick.
Looking at it right now, Core Tackle's number one that comes up, and it says this Japanese technique is taking over bass fishing. Don't miss out. And it kind of looks like straight up like an ice fishing rig, but bigger now. Like ice fishing used to have that little one with a spoon. It looks like that. They're using it on soft plastics like a minnow, and it's definitely kind of a hybrid between your drop shot and that ice fishing technique.
That's what they're doing. Everyone's using these with live scope, huh?
Yeah,
I'm going to show you. I'm going to share my screen and
take over so I can eat this cold pizza that's been sitting on my desk for an hour.
Cold pizza, dude. It's what is it? 11:30.
It was hot. It was.
Let me. So can you see that, Just?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, I see it.
You see that? So there you go. You feed that through your bait a little differently. Can you guys see
it? They showed on minnows. They showed on like drop shots. They even have it on a Cinco rig here.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a little. I'm surprised you haven't.
I think I saw it with like somebody using it with flatworms. Do they put flatworms on that?
Yeah, that shows. I'm looking at one right now from Core Tackle, and they're showing you how to rig it on.
I think that's what I saw. But then I see people getting pretty crazy with these with a live scope.
There you go. You see it?
No, it's still on the hooks right now.
Oh, I got they got a flat worm on there right here. You guys can't see that?
Nope.
What do you see? Just a hook?
Yeah.
Yep.
How about that? Hello?
Nope.
No? What the hell?
Google it.
Whatever. That's weird. I have
okay, yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see one with a flatworm. Huh.
Yeah. So
that weight in it is that weight supposedly is it easier to see with live scope then?
I don't know if it's with the weight. It's just the presentation, I guess. I don't know. I never dabbled with it, but I know. But there are live scope baits out. They got like slick gel or something you can put in the baits now, so it bounces off.
When you're going with the dogs.
Slay baby slay, Frankie. That's one of my.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the hot bait's going to be this year. It could be that. I don't know. Last year was weird for me, but it was. I think last year was like a spinnerbait came back and made a fucking return out of nowhere and kicked the hell out of a lot of tournaments for us.
I cannot wait. This is a knee knocker. This is a personal one that I bought. Knee knock. Like I'm part of one of my fishing resolutions is to go back to how I used to fish and got away from like crankbaiting, spinnerbaiting.
I agree.
You're gonna be using like a simple jitterbug.
You know what? I got old jitterbugs, guys.
Me too,
I thought about repainting them because they're old as hell, and just I got to reseal them. But like I just want to get back to like simplicity, like just old school power fishing, instead of worrying about like. I love Ned rigging, but dude, I hate how much I get snagged with a friggin' Ned rig.
Same.
I like retying is like a pet peeve of mine. Like just
that's
always.
That's why you got to carry 57 rods.
I know. That's true. That's true.
So I think it's going to be what it always is every year: the black Cinco. Somehow, some way, somebody always catches a monster on a freaking black Cinco.
Oh yeah, that's Pete from the Bass University loves black Cincos. That's like they're the joke.
That's the biggest in my other club down in Florida. The biggest bass ever caught is on a black Cinco.
I'm in, Jake.
Oh, for the team slot series.
Mess them up. It's gonna be a good year. Yeah, I switched boats this year, so it's gonna be a big change for me.
Oh, what are you rocking?
Thick.
I got out of the native finally and
Old Town?
Hobie.
Oh, you're in a Hobie.
I'm in a Hobie.
I like Hobies because I feel like the sides are really high, which I kind of like.
Yeah. The floor space, the deck space is actually what changed it for me. I just got you could fit your whole catchboard in between inside the kayak. Yeah.
So your fish don't jump overboard anymore.
Correct. So that's why I kind of switched to it. And yeah, so I switched this year. And we have a sponsor, Morgan Marine, local sponsor for our club.
Nice.
They were a big sponsor during the state championship for our team.
Okay.
And he hooked me up with that. So I switched to the Hobie. So it's going to be a big change.
Nice,
Justin, man. It might not be known, but I do catch fish on a kayak. I just don't catch them on my board because they always slip off.
Yeah, I've been there. Well, I like to do it during tournaments though, not during practice.
Oh yeah,
that's my favorite time.
Tournaments, they sit pretty. I take photos. 100%. Tournament day, it's just right overboard.
Yep. Yeah, especially up here, man, because we like to play with smallmouths, and they're just mean bastards. Yeah, man. They don't like playing with catchboards.
No, they like gymnastics. They got to do some flips,
especially those St. Lawrence ones. There's some goofy fish over there in St. Lawrence.
Oh,
we fish with New Jersey at Merrill Creek, and last year my buddy, I'm like, hey man, make sure your rod is in the rod holder, because when that fish jumps overboard, you're gonna go for the fish and not your rod. Second fish drops his pole over. Now we're competing against each other. But I took out time to help him catch his rod so we can get back to fishing. But it was like I was on fish. I put him in my rod holder, opened the bail. It's all good. I had a couple jump off, brought him back. But second fish, he did it, and it like ruined his day. So Hobie's the way to go.
It gets in your head too, man, when you lose one, especially if it's early. I had one this year. It was like 19, 20-inch fish, and I had him in the boat, being a little bit too cocky with it. Didn't have him in my net, and before I even got my board out, he jumped off. I think he was like 19 inches.
That is the worst.
Yeah. And I finished fourth, and I would have given me a win. That's Cranberry Lake.
That's the only advantage, like fishing in a john boat, because the deck is so wide. Like and I have a high deck. I don't have a low one, and so like plenty of times those fish they just flop, but it'll flop, but just stay on the carpet. And I'm like, thank God for the john boat.
Yep.
Because otherwise, if that was a kayak, I'll never forget. I competed when the KBBT, remember the KBBT? The online stuff?
Yep.
And I competed. I was like, let me try this. And I had my sit-in yellow pelican, and I had my hog trough sitting on top of the kayak, right? Because I couldn't it wouldn't fit in my lap. And I caught like a 21-incher at my favorite spot. And I laid it on there, and that sucker, just flipped up. I said, oh my God. And I had a little handheld net. And I was pissed, and I grabbed it real quick, and I just went under my kayak, went like this, and I'm like just out of just doing it because I was pissed, and I got it in the net, and it was like, dude, it was like God was just watching, and I'll never forget. I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm never you got to have a hand on there at all times, regardless.
Yeah.
Like I've always said to people, like for these hog troughs and catch boards, somebody has there's at some point we got to make like a fish belt or something that like just keeps the fish. I don't know what.
Strap around that boy.
Strap around the board. I don't know what
like
it is.
A rod saver.
Yeah. How do you like? Yeah, like something that gently, keeps your fish under control.
So I fished again in Pennsylvania, in Florida for many years, and we weighed in our fish. And I had a little John boat, so I didn't have a live well. And my live well was a cooler. Well, after so many tournaments, that thing starts to like the thing that keeps it closed slide off really easily, and you get those anxious fish in there. They pop it. I've had them pop the lid and jump out. So I'm like, you always got to have something to keep those fish good. Wear them out.
All the things they come out with, man. Somebody will come up with something.
We just put a latch.
Absolutely.
Just put a latch on it, turn it, good.
Yeah.
Who knows?
See you later, Jake, man. It's good. We'll catch up on the team thing, man. I'll definitely do that with you. Happy New Year, Jake.
Nice. All right, dudes. Well, we've been on here a little over an hour 15. I don't want to keep you guys. It's Friday. I know my kids are upstairs. They're getting hungry, and I told them we'll go out for lunch. But before we log out, let's share some of your New Year's resolutions. So, Just, you could share a fishing resolution if you have one, maybe a personal one. Like typically people like, I want to work out more, eat healthier, get more organized, whatever. And then Ray, we'll head down to you as well. So Justin, why don't you kick us off?
I have not thought about this at all, but so last year it worked for me though. Last year my resolution was to slow down and have more patience. Just my temperament is kind of out there sometimes and gets a little crazy. So this 2023, and anybody that fished the tournament will probably attest to this with me. I was way better in my attitude, because you can get your own head out there and spiral out of control so fast in these tournaments. And that's kind of what happened to me at the end of 2022. 2023, I tried to keep my head right. So that kind of helped me, even though I didn't fish very well. So we'll see how that worked. But 2024, I want to get back to doing things that I am good at, man. I sometimes get caught up in the hype of what's working and just whatever the hot bait is. At the end of the day, I can go out with a black Senko and a spinner bait, and I can catch fish all day long.
Yeah.
And it's just, depending on the conditions. So I want to get back to fishing the basics and kind of getting that. And then on top of that, I want to advance my technology usage, man. I'm an IT guy. I have been for my whole life. You would think that stuff would come easier for me with like forward-facing sonar and learning that, but it's such a huge learning curve for all these electronics. So I just got Live Scope, two new Garmin fish finders to go double with. So I'm going to be spending my year kind of slowing things down, getting back to the basics and learning my electronics a little bit more.
Absolutely. I love it. And I think as fishermen, we get so dialed in on the newest and the baddest and the greatest. And like you forget, go back, Bass After Dark. It might have been 2 weeks ago. They had David Fritz on, and the guy that designs the Strike King lures. They talked about colors and lures, what matters the most, is it action, all that. And they're like, dude, half the stuff you see, you don't even need. Yep. It's just, it catches our eye and we buy it because it looks pretty, it looks awesome. And they talk about, all right, topwater lures, does color matter? They both go, nope, at the same time. So my plan is to buy I only ever use white or black topwater frogs.
Same.
But to be honest, because I always thought, I was like,
that's all I do.
They don't see the top of the frog. They just see the thing going like this.
Yeah.
Same thing with spooks or wake baits. I'm going to use all clear. I'm using all clear shit. Yeah. And just to see, but also when it comes to soft plastics, like black, green pumpkin, black and blue, watermelon red, done. Done. But same time, it is nice. We're saying this right now. I'm going to be on Omnia fishing in a few minutes. And
of course, yeah. It's fun. It's still fun to throw the new stuff. Or
it is.
When you're not in a tournament, maybe that's what I should be doing that more. But sometimes I get caught. Yeah. Hearing this is what worked on Friday. I heard this was working for some guys in practice. And then tournament day, if I spend 30 minutes not catching fish, I'm like, well, I got to go switch to that. Maybe that's why I'm not catching fish. Yeah. I stick to what I know works. Nobody will ever convince me, and ever that anything is better than a black and blue Senko. Like I've caught the biggest fish of my life on black Senkos. I've caught more fish in my life on black Senkos. Just like Gary's saying, Senkos catch fish. There's the reason Gary Yamamoto makes them every day.
That's true. That is true. I'm like that with a black and blue jig.
See, same thing.
Better color. Black and blue jig. Sorry.
Black and blue jigs is only. I mean, black and blue jigs is almost the only jig I throw.
All you need. I don't care what size.
Well, Frank.
All right, Ray.
Well, real quick, you were saying about the lures. Like, dude, I went through my old tackle box, and I have Mann's ribbon tail red shad worms.
Oh, those are old school.
I'm like, I have probably like 20 packs of them.
Save them. Those are collectibles.
Yeah, yeah. So, like Justin, I have a few upgrades coming this season. I want to really learn some new technology. I don't know if I'm going to have live scope or anything like that, maybe in the future, but I really do want to take the time to learn just graphing. I think it's huge. And then I want to slow down and not only learn a technique, but learn from the people I'm fishing with. I plan on fishing with a couple guys this year. So I want to learn from them and just, again, slow down and enjoy catching either a lot of fish or just the ones that I can manage to get in the boat. So it's not about winning the tournaments for me this season. It's more about just going out. And that's another one of my resolutions is I want to go to Connecticut. I want to go to New York. I'll put it out there. Me and Selinsky are 100% joining the New Jersey Trail. So a couple new bodies of water for me. And that's where I really want to take the time to learn these things. So yeah, that's really it.
Jersey is a little bit of a sleeper state, man. I lived there for a while when I was in the Air Force. They got some pretty good fish in a couple spots. It's not a lot, but when you find one, it's pretty good.
Yeah, but there's a couple good lakes I'm really excited about. I love, because I'm a director, I love seeing everyone catch fish.
Mm-hmm.
As an editor, I'm like, damn, but it is exciting to get out there and do it. I'm excited about that stuff.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have a good year, man. You guys are going to have a good year over in Pennsylvania. And it's nice that you have like New Jersey and New York and Connecticut. Like you guys can go all over the damn place, man. You PA guys. So kind of cool for you guys.
I know.
Yeah, I would love to get a couple guys that would commit to like going to hit a couple events and show up and show you guys what Pennsylvania's about.
No, I wish. I think about that stuff all the time. Like, damn, I wish I started this when I was like 20 years old.
Right?
Yeah.
Think about all the traveling we'd be doing.
Yep.
But hey, we got responsibilities. But listen, gents, I appreciate you both hopping on. Appreciate all your hard work as always. Happy New Year. And I know I'll be talking to you guys in a few days.
Yep.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you very soon.
All right, boys. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Justin, take care.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, if you haven't joined yet, SlayNationTournamentFishing.com. The early bird registration raffle is going to be extended to the end of January. Hey, we're also looking for new directors. Maybe you don't have a Slay Nation in your area, your state. Maybe you want to run crappie tournaments. Maybe you want to run redfish tournaments. I don't know. That's what we're doing, right? We're trying to grow the sport through tournament fishing. And as always, stay safe, right? Have a happy New Year if we don't talk to you. And peace, love, and together we slay. Later, y'all.